We'll leave it to the crypto industry to provide us with another catchy phrase. This time it's called the halving. Now, this once every 4-year occurrence is considered by industry observers as arguably one of the most important events related to the largest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Our Faith Jesse is digging deeper as she spoke with Greg Johnson, our local source for digital asset news, as well as a professor at NYU and the CEO of Rubicon Digital Assets.
So we want to start off with asking you, what exactly is Bitcoin, the halving here with Bitcoin, and what makes it so unique in this business landscape, Greg?
Well, Faith, it's always good to be with you. And I have to admit myself, the halving does sound like it's perfectly suited for a Hollywood movie, but it actually is one of the most important events in all of crypto. And as a matter of fact, what makes it so important is it literally is a halving of the reward that the crypto miners that are at the backbone of this entire cryptocurrency industry receive every single 4 years. In other words, in the actual program of Bitcoin, let's remember that we're talking about technologies here. And with Bitcoin, it's actually written into the code to make it more difficult, to make it twice as hard, if you will, to solve the mathematical calculations that go into getting the reward of a Bitcoin. Now, I know that was a mouthful, but what you need to understand is that this is a multi-billion-dollar industry that every 4 years has to plan for a reduction by 50% of the income, let's say, that's coming into that business. Imagine if you were an executive at Coca-Cola or somebody that was running a major university here, and you were told every 4 years, guess what? All of the revenue you're bringing in is going to be cut by 50%. It's a massive, massive deal.
Greg, does this halving matter to everyday investors, even those who don't own Bitcoin?
What a great question, Faith. And the answer to that question is yes. As we've talked about at 11 Alive for the last year, more and more Bitcoin and crypto is finding its way into institutions you wouldn't really think of as being crypto organizations. And earlier this year, a story you covered extensively, there was the approval of Bitcoin ETFs. So the more that American investors and global investors have exposure to Bitcoin, the more that these events matter to everybody. And I have to say that so much of the hype and the publicity around this Bitcoin halving has to do with in each previous occurrence since the formation of Bitcoin, there has been a massive bull run that has taken place in the months, sometimes days, sometimes weeks. But in the period after this halving, there's almost always, in fact, there always has been a massive bull run. And that's what has so many people excited about this, aside from those miners who are trying to figure out how are we going to manage our expenses when we've just lost 50% of the revenue that's coming in.
Greg Johnson, the CEO of Rubicon Digital Assets. Greg, thank you so much.